and I guess Tammy, Ewan, and myself, we all planned it. We thought, okay, this is the time, this is the location. We'll pick them up. We'll drop. Or they got a limousine and they just went up to Emerald Creek. And yeah, so it was kind of, we were the wedding planners, you could say, and we just said, this is where it's going to be. You've never been here before, but trust us, it's going to look epic. And so that's how it kind of unfolded, and they were just happy to go with it. They didn't really, they trusted us and they were not phased too much. It was like, yeah, sweet, we just want to get married kind of thing. As long as it looks cool and, we enjoy ourselves, that's all that matters. And so, yeah, that's how we kind of did it.
Do you think that by having such little people, you had the opportunity to create something more creative, more artistic? As a photographer, did that push you into a different zone?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. You agree. I think if you're the videographer, he gives them the opportunity to create. He gives them more time to maybe do some drone shots or some close ups without interfering with family and guests. You can get really close up during the ceremony and all that stuff. But we didn't spend a lot of time up there. We just spent the time we needed, like an hour and a half, just for the sunset. And I guess we could get creative in the way that we could. After the ceremony, everything was signed. We're just like, hey, can we just get another shot of you guys? A mock-up ceremony. So Tammy, the celebrant, standing there, and you two on the side, so we can run up the waterfall and get like this wide-angle shot. So they were happy to like recreate the ceremony, and we could just get creative, get our shots that we needed. So yeah, we did have time to play around and have a bit of fun, you could say.
Jason from the Raw Photographer. Welcome to Yarning with Yana.
Yana with Yana. Thank you, Karen.
I don't know what episode this is. I've lost it now, so I'll put that into a different intro later. But welcome. Thanks for coming along.
Thank you for inviting me.
So give us a little bit of an introduction to you. Where you're from? What drew you to photography? Well, where you're based first of all, as well, and how you got into photography.
I am based in Cairns, Queensland. I was born here and I haven't gone anywhere so far, and I've decided that wedding photography would be my full-time job maybe 4 years ago, when I was off in Nepal volunteering. I did a lot of travel photography before the wedding stuff, so I was still documenting people, but in a different kind of light. It was more kind of on the road, telling their stories, and kind of learning the culture of, say, Asia or wherever I might have been.
What got you over to Nepal? Were you working over there, or what drew you there?
Yeah, so I was volunteering. There's a Cairns volunteering organisation called Take on Nepal. They've got a little village just a hike away from Kathmandu, and they invited me to come over and do video. Now, I've never done video before, so this was a whole new thing for me. So I did it, and it was more just kind of a promotional thing for them that I could do. But on the side, I was still taking photos because that's where the passion lies. And through that, I spent a lot of time. I was up there for 2 weeks, and there's a lot of time you have by yourself. So we were teaching students at the time, just basic English and maths. And we also had a lot of time to kind of just sit and just think and just kind of, reflect on ourselves and what we want to do. And that's where I kind of thought, what am I going to do when I get back to Cairns? And in the hostel up at the village, I decided, look, I like taking photos of people. I'm pretty good at photography. How can I make a living back when I get home? And I guess the wedding industry in Cairns is really strong, and I can make a decent income off that and a living. And so up there, I built a business card and a website with very little internet.
You did it in Nepal?
Yeah, I had my little Mac laptop, and
cool.
I had Illustrator and WordPress at the time. And I just kind of started designing. Originally, my business was called Raw Photography, but through finding a website that wasn't available and the option for a domain name was the Raw Photographer, I was like, oh, that sounds pretty sweet. And so I selected that domain name, and I kind of just went with that, and that's how the business name came to light. And but through up there, I was designing, and then so I had all this stuff, this this kind of business that I created up over there. And I said, I'm going to take this home and I'll see what I can do. And I had a few weddings already kind of locked in. People that contacted me through my travel stuff. It's, you know, how it starts. I go, oh, we really like your photography, your travel stuff. Do you want to do our wedding? And yeah, so that's how that kind of worked. And through that, you build a small portfolio, and now you're going from a travel photographer saying, I'm a wedding photographer now. Just keep pushing that, and then it kind of grows from there. So yeah, that's how it'll start.
Yeah, and is there something that draws you to tell me about the relationships that you have with, say, the couples that you meet as well? Is there something that really draws you to a certain type of couple, or from a certain type of area, or where do you kind of sit in the in how everything fits in? I guess where do you sit
regarding clients?
Like what's your ideal client? You know, what are they like? Where are they from?
Okay, yeah. So they're more on the younger side. The ones that kind of like to party, that like just want to have a good time, be with the family and friends. I wouldn't say non-traditional, but a bit more relaxed. Especially with the Port Douglas couples, they usually come down from Melbourne, Victoria, or somewhere down south, and they just want to come up with all the friends for a holiday and get married at the same time. And so I attracted all of those clients because that's the kind of weddings I prefer. Is I want to be more of a guest rather than a photographer. Like, I want to get to know everybody, be friends, and create connections and relationships with family members. So 2 or 3 years down the line, I can kind of pick back up where we started and be like, hey, how's it going? How you feeling? What's been happening with you? So I think that's where I kind of like. That's where I enjoy wedding photography, is creating those meaningful connections and relationships. Because as a wedding photography, it is a huge day, and it's a big part of, it's a big thing in their life. And so you have to kind of, you have to create that connection and be on their kind of level and enjoy the day with them. And so that's the kind of attitude I go into weddings with. And that's why I like it so much. Just being out with people.
And how many? So that's a lot of couples that you've shot over the years. Then you still got relationships with them.
Yeah, definitely. Like one of my first destination weddings in Bali. They're a Cairns couple, and this was maybe 3 years down the track. And I keep, like, we always meet up at Rusty's Market, or we just run into each other at the shopping centre. And we have a good 10-minute chat and see how their life is going, and they got kids now. So it's always, I always have to stop on the street if I see somebody that I've taken a photo of and just see how they're going. And because, we've created a friendship that kind of sticks throughout an entire life, I guess.
It does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
We went, we're about to renovate our house. These beautiful slate tiles will be coming up. I was at the tile shop with my partner over the weekend, and I was like looking at this guy, and I'm like, I know him from somewhere. And when you never forget a face that you photograph. And I was staring at him for ages, and I'm like, yeah, groomsman at a wedding. I couldn't place the wedding, but I can remember his smile. And when you're up that close editing someone's face, you never forget them. Never forget to photograph.
I think the hardest part is remembering their name.
Yeah.
There's one groomsman I always see on the Esplanade walking, and we always say hello and wave to each other, but I can never figure out which wedding it was and what his name was. But I know I've seen him, I've taken photos of him.
Oh, that's interesting. So COVID, I'm so sick of talking about COVID, but we've got to talk about COVID. So COVID's obviously changed so much for you, good and bad. There's definitely silver linings that's come out of it. Can you tell us a little bit how that's affected your clients, how you've managed that, and how the morale has been going?
Yeah, it's been a roller coaster, I think, regarding the changes and the attitudes of brides and grooms. At the very beginning of March, everything was just chaotic. People were postponing, and it was all going to shit. And then it kind of died off after April. people were kind of just bunkering down and seeing what was going to happen. You had couples that were, August onwards, just kind of waiting it out. And then you had couples, obviously, from April to, say, June, July, changing their dates. What I'm finding now is a lot of them are coming back, so they might have changed to 2021. They want to come back and secure the date. There's complications of maybe a new client has come and taken that date, so there's that trouble. And you're finding the attitude, like the attitude's a little bit different. So there's a lot of empathy back in April. People were like understanding and like, yep, okay, we're going to cancel, but the deposit's yours. They understood the contract and all that stuff. But I keep hearing horror stories recently and the past few months that, that empathy has changed into like apathy. People are more like, COVID's already kind of done. We want this date. Where's our deposit? So I keep hearing those stories. There's a lot of not hostility, but I don't know what the word is for it.
Frustration.
Yeah, a lot of frustration. People are kind of over it and want what they want. And they're not thinking, well, I'm sure they're thinking about their vendors, but not in a way that this is their livelihood. And, deposits are there to kind of keep them going. And so it's getting a little bit harder because dates are getting booked for next year and dates are again filling up for this year because borders are opening and government regulations are getting better. So there's a lot of, it's getting harder regarding finding dates and having a happy client. But again, the good side is I've been dealing with amazing brides and grooms that have been understanding. And this morning I booked a Monday wedding because they looked at my calendar and said, okay, we don't want you burning out. We want to make sure you're fine. And, there's people out there that are really generous with their time and their dates and happy to work with you. So there's two sides of the story. There's the good and the bad, but, that's just how it is. You just got to make sure the clients are happy.
That's right. I think it's so important for everyone to be incredibly patient at the time. There's only so much that people can do.
Yeah. Yes. I need to hire another photographer, I reckon. They'll probably solve all the issues.
Tell me the brides that have brought it forward, who moved to next year and decided to bring it back to this year, have they had to change like their guest numbers in order to, have they had to bring the guest numbers down, or are they still having those smaller, were they always planning on having smaller weddings?
I reckon the guest list over probably this year, maybe next year, will be a little bit smaller. It all depends on the numbers with Corona. I think the elderly guests are a bit more, keep them safe and keep them home. Yeah. But then again, I've got a wedding in October with 200 guests in Mariba. So you have couples that just want to have a good time. I won't say names or where it is, but that's still a few months away, and who knows, you might travel around at that time. So there's some couples that have even decided to have a smaller ceremony just by themselves and get married this year, but still continue to have a party and invite all their family and friends and still kind of have a ceremony, but they're already married. So there's some couples that have done that as well. So
I've had friends of mine last year that did pretty much that. They had a ceremony by themselves and had this kind of party afterwards. Do you think that in the future this is how we might actually see things change as a kind of a trend? Like that might actually be the new thing?
I don't think so. I think maybe more trendy will be the elopement kind. Oh, I guess yes. True. Yeah. I guess yes, in some way. It's not going to be huge, but you might have some couples that might think about it. At the moment, I'm creating a blog, 5 reasons why I should elope. And, pushing that kind of, like, elopements, I don't think they're massive in Australia. They could be bigger compared to other countries like America and stuff where they're huge and very trendy. But you know, it's all up to the couple and how they want to experience their marriage, and that's why with what we'll talk about soon with the couple that I just did, you know, they had the cookie cutter Port Douglas wedding, 100 guests, sugar off, all that stuff. And they were just kind of doing it because that's what they saw on Instagram, and that's just how it was meant to go. But then, you know, me and Ewan from Hudson Films offered that kind of, you know, this is what you can do during Corona. And they kind of sort of, you know, sat on it and thought, you know, this is more us and let's do it this way. And so, you know, they just kind of did their own thing and didn't have to worry about the dramas and replanning and all that stuff.
So that was their date. So we'll go straight into that. Yeah, tell us about that. That was their planned date. They'd planned on having that big wedding. Everything kind of fell apart, and they thought, you know, let's go ahead, let's continue.
Yeah, their original plan. So they contacted me last year saying we're having a Port Douglas wedding, 100 people on September this date. Everything's booked in. She's got the dress, and it was all going ahead until March when the pandemic arrived. And then we offered this the smaller package with you know, a bit of a discount because we got nothing else to do and it'd be nice to make a little bit of income. And yeah, we only advertised that once on Facebook. We weren't pushing it or anything, but you know, they saw it. She was a client of mine, and she decided, you know, this is us. She has family, you know, there's family dramas and all that stuff. So, and again, Jess, he's introverted and quite quiet and probably would be super nervous in front of 100 people. So it's comfortable for him as well to just go away somewhere remote or beautiful and just get married to her without 100 people watching him and just be comfortable. And so that's what they did. And they really enjoyed it. They thought it was the best thing because they could just be themselves, be comfortable, and get married in the afternoon, you know, 4 hours and they're done, go back to the Airbnb and kind of soak it all in.
Enjoy it. You look like you enjoyed it as well. Tell me, where did you go? Like, how did you get there and how did you plan it? Did you plan it all together?
Yeah. So we kind of, they've never been to, so it was at Emerald Creek Falls, just outside Mareeba, and they've never been there before. So me and Ewan scouted the location beforehand just to see, okay, this is a nice spot for the ceremony. We can take photos here. So this was maybe 2 weeks before the elopement. And we, I guess Tammy, Ewan and myself, we all planned it. We thought, okay, this is the time, this is the location. We'll pick them up, you know, they got a limousine and they just went up to Emerald Creek. And yeah, so it was kind of, we were the wedding planners, you could say, and we just said, this is where it's going to be. You've never been here before, but trust us, it's going to look epic. And so that's how it kind of unfolded, and they were just happy to go with it. They didn't really, they trusted us and they were not phased too much. It was like, yeah, sweet, we just want to get married kind of thing. As long as it looks cool and, you know, we enjoy ourselves, that's all that matters. And so, yeah, that's how we kind of did it.
Do you think that by having such little people, you had the opportunity to create something more creative, more artistic? As a photographer, did that push you into a different zone?
Yeah, I guess you could say that. You agree. I think if you're the videographer, he gives them the opportunity to create. He gives them more time to maybe do some drone shots or some close-ups without, you know, interfering with family and guests. You know, you can get really close up during the ceremony and all that stuff. But we didn't spend a lot of time up there. We just spent the time we needed, like an hour and a half, just for the sunset. And yeah, like, I guess we could get creative in the way that we could, after the ceremony, everything was signed. We're just like, hey, can we just get another shot of you guys, you know, a mock-up ceremony. So Tammy, the celebrant, standing there and you two on the side, so we can run up the waterfall and get like this wide angle shot. So they were happy to like recreate the ceremony, and we could just get creative, get our shots that we needed. So yeah, we did have time to play around and, you know, have a bit of fun, you could say.
Create art. Do you think a little bit of the travel photography background is helpful in situations like that? I guess when you go to scenery, was it more scenery? Was it more people that you did in your travel photography?
A bit of both. I always like to incorporate people into the scenery. But when it comes to people, I think when you're taking photos of people, it's a lot different to scenery, because people, you have to really create, again, those connections and trust and stuff. With the scenery, you can just kind of place them anywhere in the frame and it's going to look good if you know what you're doing regarding composition and all that stuff. But yeah, it's, I think that's it. Did I answer that question correctly?
You did, yeah. As far as like creating a piece of artwork, like how do you like to see a piece of artwork displayed? Like if you were take any shot from, say, that of that day, and if you were going to create a piece of art and put it on the wall, would it be that wide scenic shot from up the top of the waterfall, or what would it be?
Yeah, definitely. It definitely would be that. Like, it would be nice to capture one hero image that kind of sums up the day. And I guess that shot we created where Tammy was back where she was and they were there and we got the whole shot, you know, that would sum up that moment and that would look good on a wall. Madison messaged me and she said, you know, even the champagne pop where it was a series of photos where it was great and then she was falling down a waterfall. She said she wanted to like get individual prints on her wall and just kind of show that moment. And I thought that was pretty cool too, you know. She said it was more them, you know, that kind of things going all wrong, and but it was also a happy moment. But she wants that on her wall, so I think that'll look pretty interesting.
That's really interesting, isn't it? Like something that you would, what you would think, and then what somebody else would think, of what they want on their wall. Yeah, oftentimes very different, aren't they?
Yeah, you just never know. And that's what I'm trying to learn, trying to get into this whole print product game or outlet, is working out what the client wants or what they want to see hang on their wall and what looks best. And I'm still at the newbie stages of that.
What would you like? What would you like to encourage your couples to do with their images? Like if it.
Look, I would encourage, like, if it would be nice to get the hero shot on the wall that kind of sums up their day. Family photos are important. They should just be scattered around the home. I don't care where. But if you want to tell the full story of your wedding day, you can't go wrong with like a wedding album. Like to hold and share and, you know, pass around a print from a wall or an album is way better than flicking through online galleries or USBs, and they always get forgotten about. So that's the reason why I want to go towards the more kind of physical product, because the amount of times nothing has been done with the wedding images kind of shits me.
It does, doesn't it? Do you get many callbacks from people that have lost?
Not yet. I haven't had that yet.
Okay.
I have met a bride and groom at a separate wedding a few years afterwards, and I asked the question like, have you printed anything? Like with my full day package, I include a few 6x4 prints just because when they receive it, they can go, oh, this is cool, and flick through it all. That's all he had. That's whatever I provided him. That's all he had. And I was like, you haven't printed anything? Nothing's been done with it. And they just forget about it. And so I'm kind of like, that kind of shits me because I have prints all over myself. It's all over my house. I travel together, and, you know, portraits of, you know, the travel photography and landscapes that I've captured. So my house is surrounded by photos, and I kind of want that for couples as well. And usually after a wedding, or, you know, they've just purchased a house, and, you know, the walls are empty. So it's probably a good time to get these photos up on a wall.
Do something with them.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's kind of, it's interesting. I've had many years of doing that as well. I mean, people coming back after 8 years and saying, oh, there's something wrong with the DVD, or we don't have a DVD player anymore. I used to give out, like, burn proper DVDs back in the day as well. And it's like, lucky I keep all of them here, but, you know, I think there definitely is a responsibility as a photographer to at least offer that sort of thing.
I think, because the number one question I get asked after a wedding is, where do I get my prints done? Mm-hmm. And in Cairns, there's very little places you can go to get quality stuff that you can get it framed and printed at the same time. Mm-hmm. And I guess going through, hopefully, the way I see it is, if you go through your photographer, all you have to do is say, I want this, pay for it, and they take care of the rest, and it'll be sent to their home. You know, hopefully they trust you that the quality that you're giving them, and you know, you've done the research and finding a print lab, that you're going to get the best from your photographer. And that's what I'm hopefully trying to cross out, that kind of question of where do I get my prints done? I can be like, hey, here's a PDF of what I offer. This is what it can look like. Just let me know if you're keen. And I'm not very good. I'm not much of a salesperson, but I want to try and get better at it. But at the end of the day, I just want a couple that gets their photos printed and not to get them forgotten about. You know, it's they planned for 1.5 years to do this wedding, and then after the wedding day, they kind of go, okay, it's all done. Now what?
That's it. Or they can also get their family and friends to pitch in towards it as well. As a
True.
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. So we'll have to wrap it up because I'm almost out of time on my free Zoom.
Okay.
How do couples reach out to you, and do you have anything special coming up? Any special dates? Any offers or anything like that?
I don't have any offers or dates coming up. I'm just kind of I got a few blogs in progress. I've got 2 blogs, 5 reasons to elope, and then the other one is 5 ways to creatively display your wedding photos at home. So hopefully I'll be working on those blogs in the next few weeks. And you can reach out through my Instagram, which is @thephoto, and email info@therawphotographer.com. Facebook, don't worry about too much.
Not really into it anymore.
Well,
is Facebook dead? Tell me.
No, it's not. It's not. Yes and no. I get all my blog clicks, or people see my blogs through Facebook. That's how I get them, and I get messages still through Facebook regarding inquiries and all that stuff. It's great if you can tag the couple. That way the family and friends can see it and you get more inquiries. I don't know if I should be more active on it. I don't know if it's a good or bad thing yet, but it's still relevant, I think, regarding people seeing your stuff. It doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
I don't know what's relevant these days. I don't think, Instagram is a little bit, I'm not as enthusiastic about it as I was maybe a year ago.
Are you on TikTok? You doing the TikTok thing?
No, I've slowly started removing social platforms from my mobile. So I was a massive Reddit user a few days ago. I deleted that. Just seeing shit news. I've had enough of that. I got rid of Facebook months ago off my mobile. So all I've got on my mobile is Instagram now.
Yeah.
Just trying to separate myself from all that stuff, but still be active business-wise on it.
Yeah, it's a tough one, isn't it? I've had to remove Twitter as well. I've just pretty much removed everything.
Yeah, it's good. It's a good cleanse. You focus on what's important.
Yeah, get back to connection. I think that's what COVID's taught us as well, is to get back to each other in different ways, face to face, reach out, make a phone call.
Definitely. Yeah, and what we've been doing has been great.
All right, well, thank you very much. Sorry.
No, I was just going to say the Atkins thing was really good.
Yeah. Okay.
Really like
as well. Yeah.
She's cool.
She's hilarious.
Cool. Well, thanks for that. Loving me.
All right. Thanks, Jason. Have a good day.